state-of-the-art, top-notch expression of e-mobility, both technology-wise and design-wise. This is another Audi that will truly make you have fun, happy and proud to drive. And when it comes to talking about design, there's nobody better than our chief designer, Mark Licht, who can explain the car. Mark, where are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, today the technological heart of an Audi is the engine. And with a position in the front, this engine dictates the architecture of a car. With the Audi E-Tron, this will change, because the new technological heart is a battery pack which is located in the floor of the car. And this describes the main character of this car. That's why we came up with the idea to split the design of this car in two layers. A bottom layer, which emphasizes the core of the power and the center of gravity. It's very visible, it's a very exciting and expressive design car. And in contrast, the second layer, the upper layer, which is super sleek and light. And this creates a really unique and new character for an Audi. And if you talk about the front, this front gives you still a very familiar look. But related to the new technology in the drivetrain, the single frame, we came up with the idea that single frame is not a radiator anymore because there is no engine behind. That's why we came up with the idea, what about we invert the single frame by color to create a new look, but still a very familiar face for an Audi. Really new for Audi. And if you talk about face is very new face. The second thing is I'd like to talk about is efficiency. You know, for an aerodynamic, for a battery electric vehicle, aerodynamic is very important. And I'd like to tell you a story. This car is best in class in aerodynamic. There's a very clear, simple reason. Almost 4 years ago, when we started designing the Audi E-Tron, we had a first sketch presentation, and I chose the 4 best proposals. And I told the designers, I brought them to the wind tunnel, and I told them the proposal, the model with the best aerodynamics will go to production. That's the result, best in class. And aerodynamics is important because it will extend the range. But there's something even more important. Imagine that there is no noise anymore from the engine. That's why you're very sensitive to hear all the wind noises. Because of this aerodynamic, it's even up to high speed levels, almost quiet. It's a complete new driving experience. You have to try this. Another very important thing is, there's one detail I'd like to mention. It's my favorite detail. And these are the virtual mirrors. And these virtual mirrors, they improve not only the aerodynamic, they improve the aesthetic and even the function. And this is, you know, where Audi design stands for. Technology in perfect harmony with design and with aesthetic. And that's why I really like this detail, and I'm really proud how we integrate the rear view screens in the architecture of the interior. You know, we saw this detail, virtual mirrors, on many show cars already. It's the first car which was in production with this. And always difficult to integrate these displays. We did it in a perfect way. Aesthetic and function-wise, I think that's benchmark. And if you talk about the interior is like the upper exterior layer. It's very light, very sleek, it's very aesthetic, it's floating elements with freestanding displays. The layout is drive-oriented, it's minimalistic, very functional, and I would say that the whole interior is an orchestration of shape, of materials, of light and sound. And that's why it's getting almost a very holistic design experience. And that's why I just call it, it's a smart space. And that's why I say, for me, that's E-Tron. Ladies and gentlemen, for us designers, the US market is very important, especially California. That's why we came up with the idea that we will have, or we have, a design studio in the US, located in Malibu, California. It's called Audi Design Loft. And this shows how important for us the US market is. But there's somebody here who can explain to you a lot better than me how important the US market is for us. It's a pleasure for me to introduce my colleague and friend, Scott Keel, President of America. Scott?
Phenomenal job, Mark. Phenomenal. Wow. This group grew. Pretty cool to see how it went together. And look, a warm greeting from my side. Worldwide tonight is, of course, a celebration of our first electric vehicle. And for here in America, it's the beginning of a new chapter in a story that really began 50 years ago. In 1969, America, of course, put the first man on the moon, and Audi put a different kind of spaceship on our roads for the very first time. From Seattle down to Texas, Salt Lake City, all the way to Tyson's Corner, our first dealers, many of whom are here in the audience tonight, introduced Audi to customers across the country. And for me, on Long Island, New York, my father was actually one of those first customers, behind the wheel of a 100 LS and ahead of a curve that would ultimately lead us to this very powerful moment. The rise of the Audi brand in America started strong, gained momentum in those early years, but success clearly was far from certain.